All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Alejandro Garcia, Communications Director for General Paxton's office. Thank you for coming to the press conference. I'm going to introduce you to Attorney General Ken Paxton. He'll open it up for some brief remarks. He'll take a few questions. We also have the staff of the Attorney General's office who they're also involved in this deal very intimately. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask General Paxton. We can also refer some questions over to Mr. Rick Berlin. So thank you.
Well, you can thank us for the background music of the freeway, and I'll start off by saying go Astros. I'm pretty excited about the World Series being here. This is also a pretty great day for the state of Texas, something I've been working on for almost 3 years with my staff. Hundreds of hours have gone into this. It's not over, but I'm announcing a $290 million statewide opioid settlement agreement with Johnson & Johnson to resolve the opioid crisis and to help is this not loud enough? The agreement will largely track the terms of the global prescription opioid settlement agreement that was announced July 23rd of this year, right here as a matter of fact. According to the settlement agreement, Johnson & Johnson has agreed to pay $291,841,000 and change into the qualified settlement fund, representing Texas's allocation of the entire global abatement settlement. And Johnson & Johnson is finally being held financially accountable. This is not the end of our negotiations. We have other companies that we're still working on negotiating, which we talked about in one of our earlier press conferences. Another almost $1.5 billion from the 3 distributors. But as you know, the opioid crisis is not going away. Opioid deaths are up almost 30% from last year. And so these monies, the goal of it was to get them here as fast as possible. And I should note that from the original agreement till now, those monies are actually going to come in a lot sooner. They're going to come in at the end of this year as opposed to being paid out over 9 years. So that's really important to us. It's really important to those who are suffering as a result of what these companies have done and what they've distributed. And so I'm excited to know that these monies are going to be allocated to people who are actually in need, and it's going to start flowing at the beginning of next year. So I can't say how much I appreciate the work that has been done by my staff, other states, attorney generals, both Democrat and Republican. I think we did a good job of working on this together. And you should know that, again, we're not done going after these other companies. There's many more to come. But this is just the beginning of payback for some of the things that these companies have done, and the beginning of helping people that have lost people and that have people that are suffering in their families because of the opioid epidemic. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
How does this relate to the multi-state agreement that I guess is still being worked out?
So this was part of that, sort of, but they were a separate entity. So we're really negotiating 3 major distributors. Amerisource, Cardinal, and McKesson are more. They'll be grouped together, I think, and we've still got a few other terms to work out, but generally we know we're going to end up, Texas is going to end up with about $1.5 billion of a $26 billion or so settlement in the end.
Does this affect the final dollar amount from that agreement?
No, this is a separate part of it. Now, we were negotiating at the same time with them, but they were always a little different because they're more of a manufacturer than they are a distributor. So the distributors are really more together than this part of the deal. It just so happened that we were sort of having parallel negotiations with Johnson & Johnson while we were negotiating with 3 distributors.
Will this settlement be managed by the Texas Opioid Abatement Council and follow the same guidelines?
Yeah, good to see you, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah, so 70% of the money goes into what you're talking about, the abatement fund, that will be managed by people who know what they're doing, medical people and other people that have some experience with the opioid crisis. 15% will go to the subdivisions, the counties and cities that are part of the litigation, and then another 15% will go to the state. So it's divided in those percentages, but most of it goes into an abatement fund. And the concern from the very beginning was making sure that the money didn't just go to a legislative pot to be spread around to other things, but that the money actually went to solving the problem.
And does that money come to the state all at once, or is it distributed over 18 years?
So this money is being distributed in 1 year. Like, it's going to be paid December 31st, so it'll be available to start being used January 1st. So the distributor money that we're talking about down the road is going to be an 18-year deal, and that's probably because we were able to get more money from them if we spread it out. Whereas Johnson & Johnson had a better cash position, and we were able to negotiate the money up front, which I think helps us because we get some money up front, and then we'll have a regular flow of funds for a long time to deal with this issue. So I kind of like actually the mix of how we negotiated this.
And will it be portioned across the subdivisions?
So yeah, so the 15% will be based, I think, largely on population numbers, and that part I won't be dealing with directly, but I think that's more based on just population.
I see.
Any other questions?
Who will decide where the money gets allocated?
You want to decide? No, it's going to be people that are appointed by us, by the governor's staff, who are experts in dealing with this. So we wanted people, medical professionals, people that have opioid experience, to be a part of directing where the monies go. And there'll be people, these counties and cities will be able to apply, even though they're getting 50%. There'll be programs all over the state that'll be able to apply for this money as time goes on and as more money comes in.
Any other questions?
Well, thank you all for coming here, and again, go ask for us.